Today I'm out in the garage and I'm actually going to start doing a little bit of work on Burt, my 2016 Indian Scout 60. I've got some things I want to do to it over some time when I get the money for it. But the first thing is that these guys, they're great mirrors. They're really good visibility. They don't vibrate too much, but the rest of the Scout 60 is blacked out, and then you got these big chrome mirrors that are on there. And also, visually, the look of the Scout is low, like it's slammed. Without lowering the bike, you know, it looks like it sits nice and low. That's got a really low seat height. And then you look at the handlebars and you look at the mirrors, and they kind of stick up. And visually, I'm just not a fan of it. I bought a set of mirrors off of Amazon from a seller called Mr. Lucky's. They're mirrors meant to go on a Harley, but he has these handlebar clamps which will allow it to adapt to other handlebars that don't have the special Harley mount. So it's just a cast aluminum part that has a post mount built into it, and then you bolt that to your handlebars. Scouts have 1-inch handlebars that taper down to 7/8 on the grip end. So you can't buy a 7/8 part, obviously you need to buy a 1-inch, which is what I've done. And I'm trying to get a little bit more of a classic look, more like the original 101 Scouts from the, like the 20s. Here's the original mirrors. You know, they don't look bad. I like the shape. Actually, you know, interesting that Indian makes black versions of these for the Dark Horse. And they're the exact same mirrors, but they don't put them on the Scout 60, even though everything else on the 60 is blacked out, with the exception of, like, you know, the exhaust pipe. I'm going to leave the mirrors on as I mount the new ones, and then when I like the position, I'm going to take these off, because I don't need this mount anymore, because the Lucky's mirrors will just clamp to the handlebar. The idea is I'm actually going to undermount. I'm going to put the mirror down here, like they do on the Harley 48s, and that'll trim visually the height of the bike down and make it look more slammed. Didn't really do an unboxing here, but these are the parts that come with the Mr. Lucky's mirrors. These are the post mount to handlebar adapters. They're really well made. They come with these really bad quality, I don't even think they're JIS taper Phillips screws. These are bad. I went ahead and swapped these out for Allen screws, Allen cap screws, simply because you would strip that out before you'd get enough torque on the fasteners to hold these in place and not have your mirror vibrate loose. You don't need to reef on it. It is, you know, a steel fastener going into this cast aluminum part, but that screw is just too wimpy. So instead, what I did here is I just got some Allen cap screws with small washers and a split washer. Now the mirrors themselves are pretty sweet. They are just simple, round, black mirrors. This is the look I'm going for. I'm going to have a mirror down here like this, mounted under the handlebar. I've got plenty of clearance to the fuel tank. Even at full lock, it's never going to touch it. And it's going to have the effect of being like the Sportster 48, or at least that's my hope. I like the look of this round mirror better on the bike, because the original Scout 101s just had just a plain round mirror, something like that. Now Mr. Lucky's comes with all this stuff here. You get the mirror, and they have different finishes. They have brass finish, they have chrome. I just got the old black. And you get an Allen wrench to, you know, set the tension on that screw there. And then here's the stem, which is just a standard Harley post mount. But look at the quality of the finish. Not on the stem. The stem's fine, but the hardware is chalky, corroded. And I've tried to clean this off, and it still looks bad. So what I'm going to do is, the bike has little bits of chrome here and there. I had these left over from Bike Master mirrors, and these are really good quality chrome plated parts. I'm going to steal the fasteners out of this to replace the fasteners on the end of this that are kind of manky looking. Other than that, I like the kit. You know, it's just these fasteners aren't good enough to hold it on, in my opinion. And the quality of the finish on the fasteners that come with that are kind of crappy. But you know, if you're building an old school chopper or a rat bike and you don't care because you already have rust here and there, having, you know, these fasteners that are kind of a little crappy looking, maybe not such a bad deal. You know, I've got the clamps on the left and right side. I don't have the mirrors adjusted where I want them just yet, but that's the look, right? Kind of like the Sportster 48. Now I got both mirrors on right now just because I want to take the bike outside, move these stems into the final position, and then lock down the acorn nut, which will set that tension. And then if you look here on these Mr. Lucky mirrors, there's an Allen set screw that holds a grub screw against the post. And then these 3 screws here adjust how much tension is on the swivel ball. I mean, they're old school, but they're really well made. And other than the fasteners that I pointed out, they look great. Because I know someone's going to ask me, yes, if I turn the handlebar full lock, the mirror does not touch the tank. It's just like a 48, you know, Harley 48, except for the round mirrors. I've got a set of bolts that I cut down. These are 10mm by 1.25 thread pitch, and I'm just going to use them to cap off these holes, and then I'll just put the original mirrors in a box. It Bob's your uncle, right? So anyhow, I'm going to adjust these mirrors, and then we'll take off the big Mickey Mouse ears, and we'll see what it looks like without the big old chrome mirrors. Right, I just got back in from riding, and just around the block. Got my mirrors, the new mirrors adjusted and exactly where I want them. I can see perfectly clear behind me, under my arms, and I'm just finishing up taking the mirrors off here. So loosen the retaining nut and then back this dude out. So I've got those bolts that I had painted up. They're drying right now. So those will block off these 2 little spots. They're all mounted up. I've got the mirrors removed. Just waiting on the paint to dry. For where the tie wraps were, I just got some Velcro. And also, I used a couple of pieces down here to neaten up the loom a little bit. So check that out. You get step back here. Oh, Burt, the Indian here, is looking pretty sweet. Those underbar mirrors are pretty damn cool looking. It really cleans up the overall look of the bike and helps it, I think, makes it look like it's slammed down more. I'm at full lock right, full lock left, and them dudes don't touch the tank. As a matter of fact, I get a good 3/4 of an inch to an inch of clearance. I've been out on the road, and I know that Burt is good to go. I like it. Other people may not care for it, but I like it. The original Indian 101 Scouts from the 1920s, they had very small round mirrors. Actually, I think they usually just had one. So I wanted to use a round mirror because I've seen Biker's Choice and Bike Master kind of have this kind of mirror that's just a simple stem mount. And you could get them in oval or square. But just the small round ones are fine. Now, if you're kind of a wide guy, you probably don't want to run these. First thing I did to my new Scout to kind of personalize it and make it mine, so I guess technically you can call that a mod. I really like the way it looks. It cleans up those handlebars. It's not everybody's thing. Some people need much longer mirrors than what the factory provides to see over their shoulders, you know, riders of different heights and all that. But for me, the underbar mirrors work perfect. I can see everything behind me. And realistically, you also need to be swiveling your head when you ride and look around you, not just rely on your mirrors, especially when you go to turn into another lane. You need to check your blind spot. Good quality mirrors from Mr. Lucky's, other than just a couple of hardware things I pointed out. They're great. They're really solid. No vibration on the test ride. Well, part of that's because the engine's really smooth on the Scout, but they look great. They're well made. If anybody from Mr. Lucky's is watching, please swap out those stupid little screws with something a little bit more substantial. Like it'd be nice to have some stainless Allen cap screws with some washers and some split washers so you don't have to use Loctite or anything. And also, I would have liked to use the black hardware, but the chrome looks okay. It would have been nice if the little washers and nuts and stuff that originally came with it weren't kind of like almost already rusting. But I had leftover hardware from other projects and stuff, so I just used that. So for me, it wasn't a big issue, but they weren't cheap. It was almost 40 bucks a pop for each mirror. The hardware should be nicer. Thanks for watching. Ride safe, and until I have another video up on the Scout, see you guys later.